Congressman Mike Gallagher is a member of the Armed Services and Homeland Security Committees. Great to have you on set today. Good to see you. Where do you stand on all of this?
Well, listen, I think we have a huge opportunity to fix an urgent national problem. I was glad that the president is pushing us to do so. And as he said in his State of the Union, no one's going to be able to get 100% of what they want. But we have an opportunity to be the Congress that finally fixes this problem. We need a sense of urgency, though. I sort of wish they would just lock us in the House and the Senate floor until we came up with a deal.
Can we talk about that for a second? So a few days ago, you knew you didn't have much time as leadership on Capitol Hill. Because even though you had 17 days rather, many of them were not legislative days. We are facing a week from today, another government shutdown, and this issue is still looming. What is happening?
Quite honestly, as a new member of Congress, sometimes I don't understand the process. I think knowing that funding for the government's going to run out on February 8th, we should be working every single waking hour to avoid a shutdown.
At the retreat.
Well, either at the retreat or keep us in session in Washington, D.C. to actually do our jobs. Or how about this? Don't pay members of Congress until we can actually pass a budget that fully funds our military. So I know that sounds naive as a new member of Congress, but that's what I would prefer to do, and I wish we were working towards that right now.
Well, and I know as a veteran, and you sit on the Armed Services Committee, too. I mean, you and I were talking. Obviously, you've got a bone to pick about how certain people get paid and certain people sometimes don't get paid. But I want to move on here because the president certainly is making this an issue whenever he gets within a group of Republicans. So what is the problem within the party? Where is the divide, and can it be fixed like by, I don't know, next Thursday?
Well, listen, I think there's sort of the eternal problem of all politicians only caring about their next election and therefore unwilling to take political risk. There's this other problem, though, of a lack of urgency. And I think we have a couple proposals out there. We have the president's compromise, and then we have the Goodlatte bill. Let's work to figure out how we get to 218 votes. In the Marine Corps, we used to have a saying, which is you ride to the sound of the guns, which basically means when you see a big problem, you don't run away. You address it head on. That's what we should do right now. And if that means I have to take a tough vote, if that means I have to take political risk, well, so be it. That's why I ran for office in the first place.
You are new.
Yes.
That is fresh perspective. There are a lot of people who've been around. That's why people like term control, term limits. Talk with me about the other side of the aisle, if you will. The president has said, and I was talking about it earlier, the president has said that, you know what, if you can't get with Democrats, then you just need to elect more Republicans.
Listen, I think there are some members of the Democratic caucus who do want to see a solution to this problem and are willing to deal with the president, and he's offered a very generous compromise proposal. I think it's also fair to say, though, there are some who just want to use this as a political wedge issue and actually don't want to solve the problem. So my hope is that we can work with the more reasonable Democrats who want to actually fix the problem and make sure that we're not confronting this a decade from now or punting it to the next Congress.
Well, the president just threw some salt on the ground. It's getting spicy. In his comments just a little while ago, he said that Nancy Pelosi calling it crumbs, the things that are coming from the tax cuts, which I know you're anxious to talk about, so we're going to ask you to stay. Sure. She called those crumbs, and the president had something to say to Nancy Pelosi. Keep watching.